Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on Cyclesman.com. Welcome back to the show, Tim.
Jim, thanks for having me again, and I apologize for being on the road doing the interview, but I guess that's better than not doing it at all.
Yes, don't be in the middle of the road, that's all.
I am actually standing pumping gas.
And speaking of gasoline and oil, in Vancouver, they upped the price of gasoline 7 cents a liter or 28 cents a gallon overnight following the Saudi attacks the attack on the Saudi oil facilities. Do we know who did it, and could the Saudis have done the attack themselves to boost the price of oil? And also what makes it suspicious, tremendous big explosions and fire, but nobody killed.
And another question where my mind went immediately because of the fake news world that we live in, how do we know that it wasn't an old facility or, I think it's a lot of talk about that, and my mind went there as well. I'm very suspicious. I have nothing to go on but just suspicion, but, I have to wonder if it wasn't a false flag event to try to boost oil prices. And on that note, yes, we did get a spike in oil. I think that is an attempt to reinflate, because if you can remember, we talked about that. The dollar and commodity prices are key with trying to reinflate, and I suspect that it may have been, geared toward trying to goose, if you will, oil and commodities. But the interesting thing is that I didn't look at it myself, but I just got off the phone. I've been out of pocket last couple of days, but a friend of mine told me that the raw materials data made a new low last night or yesterday. So raw materials, as we've talked about before, everything is following that, including the CRB crude oil, but the raw materials component does not have crude oil in it. And so what that tells us is that this is, it's a continuation of the counter trend move in crude oil, I think. And so it's looking like the efforts failed.
What do you see happening with crude?
I still think it's a counter trend top, and it's trying to roll over. It's made a couple of attempts at a top, and it just hasn't quite gotten there. And it's very suspicious that last week we had if you look at a weekly bar, we had the oscillator picture was pretty negative, and we had a big weekly reversal, and then that event happened. I think it's topping. I think it's trying to top. And unless we see some more suspicious events that can give it a toehold, I really think it's topping. I mean, I stick to that.
Do you think they resorted to explosions and fire after hijacking or seizing oil tankers didn't have much of an impact on the price of oil?
I think they're doing anything they can to reinflate commodity prices, keep the economy going, the stock market, the whole thing. It's just the same game to try to keep it up, keep it going.
Is there any other way that they could try to manipulate the market?
Of course. I mean, I don't know what their bag of tricks are, but in its entirety, but it's happening. One observation, we've kind of talked about this with equities. Over the last 20 months now, if you think about it, this topping process, this ginormous topping process with the bubble, it started in January of 18, and it's been now, 20 months or so. So since then, what we have seen is an oscillation above and below that point for the fourth time. And every time this market will get to a critical point, technically, or structurally, cyclically, however you want to say it, they'll walk it back. And each time it's been walked back with a tweet, some fluffed report, employment report. And when I say fluff, you come out with some number and then you revise it by, whatever, 6 months later or 3 months later or whatever the case may be when nobody's looking. Or a tweet, oh, we got a China deal now. Oh, we're going to delay the tariffs now. Every time it's been walked back from this fake news. That's what's going on. That's the game that's being played now. And that's also, it kind of plays into the suspicion around this oil refinery deal.
Do you think it's a sad state of affairs that now, whenever a major event like this happens, we don't immediately say, oh, the poor Saudis. We say, oh, poor rest of the world, did the Saudis do it to themselves? Well,
and it's a sad state of affairs. I'm sorry, cut out for just a second. It's a sad state of affairs that you don't even know that you can believe anything you're told anymore or hear, because so much of it has proven to be, I don't know how you say it other than just outright fakery at this point.
Well, Iraq War number 2, weapons of mass destruction, Hans Blix or Brix, I forget his exact name there, who was the UN weapons inspector, said we didn't find anything in Iraq when we were allowed to be there. The fact that we were kicked out didn't really bother him because he said there's nothing going on. And we've had a war there that's killed 1 million Iraqis and countless American and Canadian troops.
Right, based on fake news then. The public is kind of slow, I guess, but after 20 years, I think they're starting to catch on a little bit.
We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after this.
Grand Portage Resources' Herbert Gold Project in southeast Alaska highlights increased gold resource, indicated and inferred, of 860,000 ounces, in excess of 10 grams per ton gold. Expansion drilling is planned on the Herbert Gold property for the summer of 2019. Grand Portage Resources trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTCQB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, when we've had so much manipulation and news that you really can't use, is gold the place to be?
I think no. I don't think so. I mean, I understand the logic in having a safety, being in some sort of a safe haven. I'm telling you, nothing has changed in my eyes with gold. Because of the relationship with raw materials, because of the relationship with the gold stocks that haven't confirmed structurally, because of the relationship with the CRB, and so, I mean, I get it, but all these other things that move cyclically and structurally together are not confirming. So I think what we've seen is a fluke move in gold. Now, that said, I covered it in the most recent research letter. I think the real test of gold is going to come if there's really something going on where it's different this time and something else is happening with gold. It's going to show up not with that move, but with this next intermediate term cycle. The structure there is going to be the real test. So while I think it's counter trend, the real test is coming, and as we move into this next intermediate term low and then turn about a bit.
When you're in this kind of, thing where people are saying, oh, there's safe havens, are there any safe havens?
We talked about this back in January, February of 18, I think it was, and everything's kind of centered around the dollar. And I hate to go back to this, but I remind people, and not everybody heard it, but, we talked about, you said, what was one of the surprises for the year going to be? And I said, the bottoming of the dollar. And so when I say the dollar, the safest place with all the uncertainty to me is not gold. It's not the market. It's not, I mean, it's to be out, to be on the side, to be in the dollar, to be in cash, to be liquid, you know? Because, like I said, nothing, we know that we're dealing with this ginormous top in conjunction with the bubble. If everything is so great, then why did we just get a second rate cut? If the economy is so good, why did Trump just criticize the Fed for the cut? Why is it that they cut twice? Why is it that he said that we should go to negative interest rates? So obviously the actions and the what they say and what they're doing is two different things. And so we are dealing with a massive top, and it's a matter of, I guess, the loss of control. Like I said, they've been able to walk it back for the fourth time over the last 20 months. How long can this go on? Well, I don't know until it doesn't. But when the efforts fail, then I think that we will definitely see it with the structure. We'll see it with out theory. We'll see it with the cycles, and then I think it's going to be high risk for all asset classes, including gold, in my opinion.
We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the 2019 drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, interest rates, the Fed did cut the rate. We have the president criticizing it, saying it should have gone further. Is it dangerous, though, to whack big amounts off at one time? Do you want to just do things gradually to see what the effect is first?
Well, I don't know what their logic is. Historically, in the simplistic model that I follow, I look at I have the discount rate going back to 1940, I don't remember, 41, 42. And looking at, just simplistically looking at it, comparing the discount rate to the 3-month T-bill rate, they've always followed, and like I said, since the early 40s, they follow the T-bill rate. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's real simple. You put the two columns, or put the numbers in two columns on a spreadsheet, and you can see it. It's just not real complicated at all. And the last two cuts have been unprecedented in the sense that they've never initiated a cut with the spread at under 1 point. Back in 2000, I don't remember the number because I'm not in front of a computer, but it was over a point. I want to say it was like a 1.8 point spread. In 2007, I think they made the cut in August 2007. It was at like 1.47, 1.48, if I remember right, spread. Here it was under a point. Now, the one issue is that we have, the inversion and that sort of thing. So that's, I guess, is perhaps an explanation as to why they made the cut when they made the cut with the spread where it's at. But, I don't know what their thinking is. I think as interest rates continue lower, we're going to continue to see them cut. And it's just part of the process. I think the lowering of interest rates is literally, the beginning of the end of the bubble, but it's definitely part of the process. And it's not going to solve anything. It didn't fix anything in 2000. It didn't fix anything in 2007 and 8, and it's not going to fix anything now. It's just everything's got to run its course. It's, like I said, it's a process, and we have to see the structure fall in place once control is lost. And then at that point, it is what it is. When Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall, then I think I think nature's going to take its course.
Should they do everything to prop up Humpty Dumpty, or should they let them fall and then work from there?
They've already done everything to prop up Humpty Dumpty. I mean, that's what's been going on for the last, with all of these news tweets we're talking about, and the fake reports, and that's what got us where we're at in the first place. You know, the markets have to breathe. You know, you have to breathe. Yeah, it's great to get a fresh breath of air, but you also have to exhale. And, you know, this market, it needs to exhale. The excesses need to be purged in more ways than one, and that's what they've not allowed it to happen, because I think they know there's going to be quite the purge. You know, like I said, we're sitting on top of the largest stock market bubble in history. So there's a lot of risk to the downside. And I think that's the fear, and that's why that it's taken as long as it has for the setup to occur, because it has been definitely manipulated. Anything else that we should be taking a look at, Tim? No, I think that's pretty much it. I don't plug the letter often, but you know, I've laid it out pretty well in the last several research letters, and if people want to see, you know, hard facts and research, it's available in the letter at cyclesman.com. Tim, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, Jim. My guest has been Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on cyclesman.com. If you have any questions for Tim or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.